bit more of the unknown element. So we'll wait and see how well MOVISTAR Riders will contest in that respect. They get the CT start, so that is at least something that they can work with going into this map up. The pistol buys come through, seeing utility for Mopos, and Steel has the diffuser double flash. Got utility for Avon and Impulse over on the level up camp. And you can see our odds from our betting partners at Loot Bet. Of course, 2.27 on the money line here for level up. So if you want to take advantage of that, click the banner under the Twitch channel and place some bets only at Loot Bet. We're going out to the defaults here in towards second minute apartments. So level up, going to contest from passive.
MOVISTAR Riders, this is the opportunity to really start to put the pressure on early. You've got to come into the fact that for level up, you know, they've been grinding out these last couple of months, been trying to work their way up the ranks, but there's still a lot of experience on this MOVISTAR Riders side, and if they can get off to a good start, put the pressure on early, that can allow them to get an early standpoint in this matchup. But they've actually completely exited this B bomb site. It's a retake setup with a stack over that A bomb site. This should be an easy bomb plan coming out for the T's.
Smokes on, nades from Mopos to respond, and that'll do minimal amounts of damage to Dimke and Necro, so plant down probably should be secured here by level up. MOVISTAR with very little presence on the B site, and they're going to get driven away. No casualty sustained though, so retake could certainly come through, especially with Steel having the defuse kit. The double flashes are forward. That smoke better be ready for a ninja if they want to try and go for it. Miss flash for the first player. D can take down an opening kill. Alex responds to a 4-on-4. Taps from Larson coming in from the main entrance, sees one player in the backline. Ava gets Mopos, and now it's a 4-on-3, making it 2 as Larson falls next. Still moving up alongside Alex right behind him, but I think they want to throw in the towel and save the kit and the Kevlar, because this is not a retake that MOVISTAR can make happen. It's a pistol to level up's favor.
A bit unfortunate they're coming out for the Riders. They put a very heavy stack out to that A bomb site. They had a player that was kind of lurking around deep CT, trying to retake 5-on-5. And the thing is, if you're retaking a bomb site on a pistol like that with a kit and you're a 5-on-5, you need to make sure that you're getting those kills in. You're flushing out the T's in that post-plant positions. But for level up, they were playing a lot of cheeky angles. They were peeking on each other's contacts, and they won out so many gunfights with those Glocks.
Big start, of course, for level up, being able to force the issue on MOVISTAR. Mentioned getting the pressure on early, but unfortunately that's not going to be the outcome that will go the way of the European side. But AK's in, and the Mac 10s and the MP5s are out for D and Impulse. They're trying to farm up a little bit of cash, but for the most part they're relying on the firepower to end off this round quickly. Bit of a weird sort of byline here from MOVISTAR Riders. Some players forcing up, some players going half by. Definitely not as coordinated as you'd like to see.
Yeah, look, certainly a bit of a weird buy coming out for the City side. Seemed like they weren't all quite on the same page in how they want to try and invest into this sort of half-buy, force-buy status. And potentially an abs pop to come out from level up. They've got the bomb and 3 players in the apartments. The Deagle instantly taken out. And now for level up, it's just going to be the continuation onto the side.
Taps up from Larson, looking for a player. Does see contact, not getting any kills though, and he's the only player playing onto the side itself. Probably best to fall back and save here with the Kevlar and pistols carried over to the next round. It makes sense, gets a bonus sort of force buyout without much investment for MOVISTAR. So 2-0 for level up, and a very confident start coming in from the T side.
As simple as. And we see the overextension coming out from Still, just getting timing on the repositioning, trying to get up to the sort of balcony position on the back of the apartments. And as soon as that happens, level up just sort of swarm in to the A bomb site. And they even are thinking about trying to go hunting. I'm surprised that they're going this far ahead. They must have realized that there was some sort of a buy coming forward, and they want to see if they can take any more weapons out.
MP5 sees forward. Alex will get 1 kill on a Necro. See if they can get the Mac 10 in to try and recover that AK. They are going to farm up some cash with a couple kills, but still a lost investment there on the rifle. They're going to have to force that back. So the money line's going to be looking a little bit counterbalanced here for level up. Small tech pause for, I'm not sure who it is, but we'll find out in a moment's time. Either way, is going to be another eco coming through for the players that went down for MOVISTAR Riders, saving a little bit of that firepower, a little bit of that Kevlar into the next round. Mostly focused on getting the rifles out for round 4.
They're trying to get that big green gun in play for Larson. It looks like they'll be wanting to try and see if they can get that AWP out as quickly as possible. Won't quite be this round. We'll have to wait 1 more. And for level up, things are looking pretty easy so far, but it's only early days. MOVISTAR Riders can maybe invest a little bit more, considering they'll know that they'll buy in the next round. They can afford to, you know, buy some Deagles, buy some CZs, a little bit of utility if they like. still gather a strong buy going into round 4. I tell you what, an opportunity as well for a lot of these SMGs on that T side to really start to farm up the money.
Yeah, lack ahead Kevlar across every player for this CT camp. And I mean, even if they do go ahead and buy Kevlar, probably going to be without helmets, so there's no real potential to try and counteract that. So the SMGs can run wild across this map. Question whether Dimk invests into another SMG for his own right, because I mean, the rifle buy is going to be a bit harsh on the money, and he could get a lot more out of this round if he can get a MAC 10 in and get some decent kills on the board. Comes down to how they feel over on the level up side, but a lot of time to mull over this one. It seems tech pool is going to be extended a little bit further on than what we'd have hoped, but hopefully it gets resolved very shortly. Hopefully we can jump back into the matchup. Hopefully we'll also get some information as well as to specifically why we're in this tech pause to begin with.
And it's kind of, for me at least, I don't know if it's sort of proud, but it's really good to see that we've kind of got like a Serbian team that's kind of contesting at quite a high level. I mean, the last one that I'm sort of thinking about, you know, shout out to Chev the Observer, but probably Squared was probably the last one that I can think of that was actually a relatively decent contender in Tier 2 Counter-Strike. Outside of them, I can't really remember, outside of the core of these players, of course. Like that was with,
another one. And there was another one. I can't remember what the name was though. I
mean, there was GameStop as well. I think it was called GameStop, and it had like the London Underground logo, something like that.
No, those were the guys I was thinking of.
Oh, wasn't?
No, I swear there's like another team. There was another team that did particularly well in the Serbian region. I have to look it up. I think to get you a definitive sort of lineup, but. You know, like when it comes to sort of like Serbian rosters, you don't really expect them to be like, you know, of the greatest caliber. So the fact we're seeing Level Up even do, you know, take the results that they have done in the past, you know, thinking about some of their recent performances in Malta Vibes alone, you know, like they went obviously to that massive overtime against Windstrike where they just beat them out in that best of one. That was at 31-29 in Group D last week. And, you know, that was sort of like their biggest sort of week as well because they went top 8 in that particular week. So they've had a couple of standout moments and standout matches and some great particular sort of, you know, results, honestly. And I think the Level Up possibly could build upon that. Certainly it's going to be their aim this week, having gone further in week 6 than they've ever done before in week 7. Another chance to make top 8, potentially even see if they can go further.
Yeah, and you know, I was just having to think about what this team could be, Jay. Do you reckon it was Binary Dragons? Was it those guys that you were thinking about? Yeah,
that was
I was trying to go back because I was thinking like because we'd certainly cast them like a few years back. Like it's been a while, but yeah, like it's kind of good to see that there's a new sort of contender on the block, and it's also nice to see as well that it's not like the players in that region are breaking off into international teams and they're actually starting to sort of build their own. Because you have a look at like Hunter and Nexa, for example, you know, moving over to G2, getting out of the scene and having like a full sort of core lineup. So yeah, no, sort of keen to see. And yeah, so what is it? Change your server, did you say, Jay?
Yes, we're having a quick change of server just to sort of sort out some. I'm not sure what the issues are specifically, but we'll find out hopefully very soon whether they'll be appropriate or whether we'll be able to jump back into the game very quickly. But yeah, you know, stuff like this happens on occasion, so we just have to sort of like get that sorted out as we get the changeover. We can see our ugly faces, so it's not a problem. It's not a problem for us. It's a problem for you, unfortunately. But yes, no. I mean, in the early game, there's only so much you can pull from that Level Up sort of start. Again, it was a pistol conversion. Seeing a third conversion come through, like, you know, it's definitely standard Counter-Strike to start things off.
Yeah, look, it's pretty simple. I mean, maybe if we were like 20 rounds deep, we'd be like, oh, you know, we could pull this, we could pull that like 2 rounds in. It's like, yeah, they won pistol, they won the anti-eco, yeah, no, it was pretty simple. Pretty simple. One thing I'm just kind of wanting to see from the Riders is sort of how different their change of style is going to be. The Riders were always a really passive team on both T and CT. They weren't really a team that got very aggressive, at least from what I remember when they had the full Spanish core. So it's an opportunity for Steel, right, to be able to get some new players in the lineup and sort of say, right, do we want to continue the same style of play or do we want to change it up? Do we want to try and have something different? Because you've got 2 players that have, I mean, at least for Shox, who has had some pretty good experience recently, Larson not so much. So it's an opportunity, especially for young players, to mold them into the team. And that's something that you can do when you don't have veteran players. When you've got youngsters, is that you can put them in positions and you can mold a style a lot easier than if, for example, you pick up some veteran players.
Yeah, and you know, in that respect, they can be very adaptable, and there'd be an opportunity, I think, in terms of those guys to sort of do some damage on the Rider squad. You know, again, that's sort of the main thing we're talking about with Larson in particular. You know, like yes, he's not very proven, he's not very flashy,
Yeah.
he's not very notable when it comes to AWP players in the Danish scene, but he can be adaptable. Main thing, you know, obviously being still only 23 years old, which is a little bit older for a lot of prospects, but still going to be in that position where it's like, you know, they can still sort of try him out and still sort of shape him to the necessary sort of the shape into the necessary sort of like role, I think, for the Movistar Riders side. Shox though is the main guy, I think, you know, when it comes to him, and he's got the most amount of potential for all of these players for my liking. You know, like he can go quite far for my money, and you know, seeing him just sort of play the right positions and play the right and get the right frags here for the Movistar side is where I'm going to see the most potential in this matchup.
Yeah, and I'm just hoping as well that still, I mean, he's obviously got a lot of experience as an in-game leader, right? But you've got to think from his perspective, things have not really gone well from transitioning over from sort of Brazilian Counter-Strike and North American Counter-Strike, coming over to Europe and saying, right, we're going to make a Spanish team, we're all going to speak Portuguese, you know, we're going to make this work. And it didn't really work. And now they've gone through a bit of a different line and gone, okay, maybe let's not try and go for a continuous Spanish team. Let's try and go for something a little bit international. So it's a bit of a test for the in-game leader as well. You know, he's probably communicated in Portuguese for the last year on this lineup. Now it's going back to English, which we know that he's had experience in the past. But then how's that going to work with players like Mopos and Alex? We don't know if their English is strong. So there could certainly be a bit of a testing involved, even just things like communication.
Yeah, and that's the main thing I think for the Movistar side is that language barrier or that language change is going to affect things most of all because it changes a certain level of it changes like a certain aspect of the game. I think that, you know, like obviously when you talk about communication, it's so imperative in something like Counter-Strike, whereas here you're changing the entire structure of the communication.
Everything.
So everything has got to be adjusted around that, and obviously it's a big risk. I feel like, you know, like with this lineup. Yeah, on one hand, I can see what you're saying. Listen, they tried the Spanish speaking or the Portuguese speaking sort of Spanish lineup, and they weren't able to make it work. They weren't able to make it effective. But now moving into a European roster, is that a smart move in terms of, you know, short term or long term game?
I think so. I think it really is. I mean, you look at the current scene at the moment, and for a lot of the smaller scenes, it's difficult to get a roster where you've got, you know, 5 Spaniards, 4 Spaniards, however it is, whatever region it is, whether, you know, it's a Estonian team or it's a Spanish scene or it's a Portuguese team. You know, when you've got those small regions of Counter-Strike, it does make it very, very difficult to build a lineup with talent that is involved in that region. So I think going to international makes a lot of sense. Quite some time ago, so it's gonna I think it's gonna take a while. It's not something that's gonna happen overnight. Results probably are gonna take a few months until we sort of see how it's shaping up, but look, I think long term it's a very smart decision.
Well, in the short term, we'll see is where the main things are going to sort of become, you know, I think that's where things are going to become the most difficult for Movistar. Obviously, having to, that sort of like adaptation period is where things are going to get, is where things are going to get more awkward, I think, for the Movistar side. So, for those of you who might be joining us wondering where the game is, we're having a bit of a tech stag, so we're just sort of filling until hopefully the server can be switched over and we can find a stable one for them to play on. Right now, we're 2-0 up for level up. We seem to have found one. I think they're just testing it now to ensure that it's all fine and dandy at the moment, Dwayne. But you know, already strong starts for level up. Movistar still with a lot of potential. I don't know how much this pause is going to break momentum for level up because, you know, there wasn't much to begin with. Again, it's only the first couple of rounds. But it is a factor to maybe consider.
Yeah, look, it is. I mean, no one wants tech issues, but it's something that happens quite regularly. So if it was maybe like either team going up 8-0, 9-0, and then you get a tech pause, yeah, it's going to make a difference. But when it's sort of 2-0 up and you're that early in the game, it's probably not going to make the biggest difference in the world. The only thing it may bring is maybe a little bit of frustration. You know, the fact of like, oh, you know, it's going to be a long night because, you know, it's probably getting to what, like 6, half 6 in the European region. You know, you've got a best of 1 to play. If you lose this, you've got a best of 3. Then if you win that, you've got another best of 3. So it may be a little bit of frustration for the players, but hopefully not enough to be able to change anything up because, Jay, we're back into the game and we're back into round 3.
Indeed, 3 to the board of level up most likely here. We've got Deagles in, pistols as basics, and limited sets of utility, and of course limited armor. And already they're going to use that nade stack actually to take the first player out. Necrogenesis not ready to receive that over on Banana. So from the wood stack going down, and a 5-on-4 scenario game by the Rider side.
Great advantage coming out from just your utility damage from the HEs. Level Up being very quiet at the moment, not giving up any information of where the T-side default is at the moment. There's a bit of a gamble stack coming out for the Riders over at B, so this could work out quite well, especially if they can get those Deagles up close and personal, try and work around the smoke. This looks to be a simple execution to B.
Well, Mopos set here towards the first box. 2 players in the CT cross rate to try and crossfire them down, and could actually get a lot of impact out of this round if they are not careful on the level up side. Still 45 seconds through the clock, and they're slowly going to wrap back over to the mid position. It's Impulse. Smoke set. Steel's going to fall back into the apartments. Avan and Impulse make their way back to the main T-side force as they try and just sell some utility fakes into that mid and brackets area. But they're not moving from Movistar. They're going to sit pretty and wait for the B commitment to come through. Smokes will go down. Alex potentially popping through the smoke. Not going to happen. The P255 is away. Now Alex gets his chance at a swing and wait for Larson to take that first contact. No one's going to check out the flower pot boost, and as Larson goes down, Impulse will eventually find that kill. Swinging from Alex does get 1 frag, but D there to trade it. So 3 AKs remaining in play. 1 point will be received, and there should be no chance for a retake.
Yeah, this should just be them looking for extra kills, really. 2 on 3, maybe just seeing if they can do any kind of damage. It's going to be difficult to be able to recover a weapon. Considering the fact that both the players are coming out from the CT area rather than Banana. The D dealing with shocks, meaning still is going to be the last one left, Deagle in hand, and it looks to be a 3rd round on the board for the level up side. And I'll tell you what, Jay, one thing to kind of take into consideration there is even that sort of fake utility out to the A bomb site, they didn't commit with it at all, and what the Riders did, rather than just falling back deeper into the side, they actually over-aggressed and saw that there was absolutely no presence. So for level up, if they try and go for a fake again, I'd like to at least see one lurker make some sort of commitment to sell that fake further, because the Riders knew instantly that it was just a fake.
Yeah, 3-0 for the start here for level up, and Raiders are getting a decent beat onto what they're doing here on the T side. So opportunities abound now with the rifles out, and again, this was going to be their main focus, so not too surprising to see them sort of, take that round on the chin. AWP's in for Larson. This will be the weapon for him to shine with. Impulse has it back for the level up side, though. He's set towards the second mid position. Necro looks onto the Banana control, and the nades up. Dimke is going to evade that damage mostly. Still got a little bit done towards him. It's Mopos that opens things up on Necro over in the Banana position. Taking away all the Banana control as well. Level up mostly focusing on the short and brackets play. The apartment swing from Dimke getting shut down by Steel. Looks for his second node. D trades it.
Oh, great trades coming out so far. Last one with the AWP is not going to be able to connect that kill, but his teammate chiming into the action, and now it's all down to Impulse. A level up getting shut down going into the gun round. Impulse can't find anything. No bomb plant, a single kill. A very strong round coming out from the Riders. The crossfires being set was just sensational.
Yeah, very well placed there, in particular from Steel, obviously doing as much damage as possible on that short contact. As they made their way out from Boiler, they didn't really stand much of a chance of getting any sort of setup, so when the recovery had to come through, there was no basis to work off of. And yeah, Larson didn't get the AWP pick, but he did manage to land a HE nade. Orbs out, AKs in, of course, the stand-up for both the T side and 2 players of the CT camp. Shocks and Mopos saved that when they swung in towards that short control. So a little bit extra firepower for Movistar to work with. Nades down, smokes up, early defaults coming in from the utility. We'll try and suppress level up, and they've gone pretty passive towards his mid and Banana control.
Yeah, not really taking it straight away. Just falling off, giving that control up to the CT side. They haven't really sort of established too much presence, though. We're only leaving a single player of Alex towards that sort of car broken ball position. Now, level up, I'm having a look at their utility at the moment, Jay. There's not a lot, so it's going to be difficult in their default to be able to gain a lot of map control. They need to be making sure that they're working as a unit rather than spreading out. And it looks like they're going to start to take this Banana control. Now, for Alex, he's got to make a decision here. He can either continue the aggressive or just fall back for the site, bring a rotation over.
2 players standing. Both players are going to get themselves set up towards the second box. 1 player boost up in particular. Where's the second man going to go? Out in the open, it seems, for Alex. And eventually falling back to the back line here behind Pillar and potentially extending so far as Dark. No, just behind the Pillar. Take that first contact. Ball out here for the T side. Level up, we're going to try and take some face out to the A-bomb site in brackets control in particular. AWP flashed off position, so he gets pushed back towards the site itself. The T's unable to act upon a hit here. They're running out of time.
They just haven't pulled out any rotations at all. Movistar Riders are just like magnets in the side. None of the B players have moved over. None of the A players are. And now the execution comes into B. LVLUP need to get these entries through because they're running out of time. They need to get this bomb plant through, but they can't deal with the defenders. D finally going to open up. They need to get this bomb down, Jay. 2 on 3. Do they just have time? They might just be able to... No, they don't. Oh, they don't have time. Just wasting too long there on the clock.
Movistar didn't even need to pick apart every single player, just get the right picks at the right time, suppress and contain, and then from there, LVLUP just couldn't get themselves coordinated enough to pick up that bomb and get it down on the site. So 2 rifles saved is going to wreck the economy. Obviously, 2 buys in a row for LVLUP. And there's not a lot of cash here for the T-side line. Probably going to force back here with the current state of the weaponry in the economy. Makes the most amount of sense. So just grab what you can, lock your way into the next round if possible. If not, well, fall down, take another eco, and take the rifles off the back of that next round. But even then, that's going to leave Movistar with a 4-3 scoreline if they have to go down that route. The CZ of Avon couldn't quite get the opening kill.
Yeah, that needed to be an opening frag to come out for the T. Steel was just caught off in the worst positioning, the terrible timing for him, but he gets away alive. And Movistar Riders, a bit of a change up here in terms of the map control being taken. This time around, they're going for an aggressive banana phase, having a single player of Mopos there with Alex just a jump spot. Now, we haven't seen this before, so for LVLUP, if they want to try and hit B, they need to deal with these 2 players in banana.
Molotov set, D jump facing in a fallout position as the re-smoke comes down from the CT cap to make sure that they hold the banana control. But it's 3 players on A that are going to be the stars of the show. The hits coming through here on the 49-second marker. Larson drops the first, Necro to fall. AK a shock, seeing nothing else towards long. Is this a ruse? And Movistar Riders will be asking that question, and they'll be quickly finding out it's not. Dimk takes a frag back, 4 on 4. Another rifle being picked up. Steel's going to swing in alongside his teammate in the back line, looking for a Suke. A 3rd frag going his way, and now it's all left to Impulse at a 1 on 4. As bomb dropped in the open, backstabs on incoming AK picked up. Does win a fight against Steel, okay, but not against Larson. The USP is enough to do the damage and take the 3rd from Movistar.
Now, the big thing, if you're trying to sort of get an execution to that A bomb site and you've only got a long commitment, it makes it really difficult to deal with any players that are towards pit or that graveyard position because there's no way of establishing a crossfire. All we saw there from Steel was he was just poking up and down, facing, able to get a fantastic 3K. Now, if they had a player towards short the apartments, then maybe they could have pulled a bit of a distraction away, but all the T's run up through long. They can't get the trades across, and that's a beautiful hold coming out from Steel.
Nice orb shot in. Dimk to fall very low, as on Necro. Impulse goes down overall. Avon almost found himself a frag or 2, but in the end, missed out his shots. Dimk does come up with a good kill, though. Larson being punished for his over-aggression. Both players held out towards mid-control. Movistar basically have this round on lock from here. There should be no way back in for LVLUP. They've got such little map control, such little firepower. No Kevlar, no utility. And that is the basis of an eco there. Again, I was expecting to see 4-3 come through off the back of that 4 spot. Exactly what we've seen so far. Now the rifles come back from LVLUP to contest.
Tell you what, Movistar Riders looking pretty solid at the moment in these gun rounds. They're not really doing anything sort of out of the ordinary. They're playing pretty passive in the sides. We haven't seen a lot of aggression. They're trading really nicely. The utility damage is coming through. So it's looking relatively calm on this CT side, which is good to see from a new lineup, or at least a couple of new players joining this team. And sometimes you can often find the City side quite chaotic, especially when they're pressured. LVLUP, this time around, going for something a little bit quicker to Banana.
Mopos spots Avon, takes it down immediately. Nade's also standing by. Dimk is the man to trade back, so not a lasting man advantage here from Movistar's side. They'll set with the utility of smoke down from Alex. Will try and contest against it. Keep them suppressed if possible, or at least siphon them off from their backup, which will be successful for the moment, but still going to storm towards the B site, and the defensive is looking lackluster here.
And Movistar Riders, a little bit of aggression coming out from A. Unfortunately, it's not really going to help them at all, even with the AWP in the apartments, because there's going to be another B-site execution coming out from LVLUP. Trade to come out, but there's only one more defender off angle from Steel, and you've got to think this retake is going to be so difficult. They're out of there. They don't even want anything to do with it.
Nah, 2 on 3, it doesn't make sense. too difficult to retake the B site, even at, you know, like a single player disadvantage, or even sometimes player advantages for the CT camp. So, you know, being so far away, being caught in rotation, might look for exit frags. If they can get players down in that respect, then we could be seeing a damage done to the level up side. Which from them at this stage here in Movistar, that's going to be a pretty decent sort of victory. The money has been severely limited off the back of saved rifles and other such, you know, damage-dealing rounds. Following their way in towards CT spawn. Shock's ready with the M4, sees Impulse. Oh, can't quite get away with a kill. Impulse will take him down. The Dimke does fall, so that is 3 casualties sustained. That is an awkward buy for level up.
What is not so awkward is being able to get some free codes, Malta V and Malta V15, for a little bit of free money and a 15% refill bonus from our fantastic case partners at hellcase.com. Open up some sick cases, get the opportunity of some sick skins. We've seen some nice skins for most of the players so far today. 4-4 on the scoreboard, level up. One thing that has got to be like their big focus at the moment is you can't lose this round. You need to build on top of this economy because they don't really have a lot in reserve.
Have to get a good win here for level up. Find something to recover the economy state. Mid control established by the T side at the moment. Smokes down towards the long position. They might force Alex out of cubby and Incendiary to come through initially just to stop them from making their way up the mid control. It's going to be a face in the apartment, so that goes well for Shocks. Advent to fall, a 5-on-4 gained. A level up with not much else here. They are just going to fall back out the mid control. Probably run into Larson's contact here on the banana position. This could be a pretty decent kill to find. I'll see one player crossing. But D will flash his way in, probably just force the AWP off. No, he still gets away with the kill.
Oh, what a shot coming out from Larson. Completely blind. That's a really nice shot into D. And you've got to think here from level up, they just need to brute force their way into a site. They need to make sure they're working together. 3-on-5, it's going to be difficult. The Riders have got so many advantages. And time even running low. And for level up, like, where do you even go from here? This is just going to be so tough. They're going to try and split in through Speedway to get a B split on the cards.
Well, comes down to Mopos, so he can try and shut down Dimke before he gets there. SMG at close range, sees his man, now going to call the information out. Not in a position to try to defend against them, but the smoke's down towards the banana position. Cross may allow for an entry from level up. Got one player super close, Alex boosted up, ready for the player out here, takes out Dimke, drops in, doing damage to Impulse. Larson gets Necro, so it's all left for the man. 1-on-5, lines up to, only gets the one frag, and the damage done with the SMG allows the picks to go back to fruition in the CT camp, and Movistar Riders defend the lead.
Very good response coming out from the Riders, and for level up, it just seemed like as soon as they lost the opening man advantage of AVN in the apartments, they couldn't take brackets, because every single time they were setting themselves up for utility to get that brackets control, it was another Incendiary, it was another HE. There was just a wave of utility that came through for Movistar Riders to keep forcing them back. And even just the AWP completely blind, getting that 5-on-3 from there, the round was pretty much done. And it's the Riders to take a tactical. I thought it would have been level up, Jay.
I mean, I guess they themselves weren't expecting to be this heavily contested by level up. It depends how prepared you are. For now, there's a lead still maintained by Movistar. They've taken that moment to just sit pretty, wait for a bit. Now get in control with the eco. The half buy coming through from level up at this stage. Just pistols out, P250's Deagles. Against the rifle buy here, Movistar Riders. They need a confident good round here on the CT camp if they want to just maintain control of the economy state, which I think they should be able to do. Larson with a very good shot in particular on D opens things up on the right foot.
Larson's been pretty impactful so far. Hasn't had a massive amount of multi-kills, but picks every now and then makes it really important. Level up, just seeing if they can do some damage. Only a couple of upgrades to work with. A bomb plant would be great, considering they haven't really had a massive amount in the rounds that they've lost. The defensive holds at the sites have been very strong from the Riders.
Minutes through the clock. The Apartments player, maybe the main thorn on the side. Larson unable to hit this shot last time. Nade stack in towards Pit. They're not there though. And Larson lands that first. Shock's coming in to support his AWP player. Gets 3 picks on the open positions. Drops that bomb. 1 casualty sustained. And the Riders get away with 6 now. Level up for a bye.
Okay. 6-4, pressure's really starting to build now for the level up side. They just need to get some rounds up on the board. Necro, one of the newest members to this lineup, who replaced Solo, I believe, last time that we saw level up playing together. Currently 1-9, so certainly not having the best of starts in this best of 1. And no AWP as well for the T's. The money's just not there for it. So there's going to be no AWP battle between the T side and the City side going into round 11.
Back off. The aggressive stance from Larson goes back to passive on the A side, but it is pretty passive from level up of their own right. They're not extending to brackets. The most aggressive player they've got here is out from the broken wall. He might get siphoned off and pushed back to his own right. But MOVISTAR being smart about this, they don't like to go too aggressive here. I mean, they've challenged for banana control, but they haven't gone like straight down the way unless they know it's safe. And it's actually worked pretty successfully for them so far.
3 players towards top banana. Massive wave of utility coming in from the City side, but doesn't do any damage with that Molotov. And now they're backing off. This is actually very surprising. The Riders set themselves up for quite an aggressive stance. Now there's only 2 players here at B. Slowly a third to come through.
Smokes on, Necro backed up here. AK gonna get flashed off here from Oppoz. Still on top of the flower pot boost though. Takes out one, sees the second player crossing. Sees Dimk as well out in the open. Takes that face, takes that frag. Blind spraying on Shocks. Goes wrong for level up. They do secure a plant, but a 4-on-3 scenario favor to the Riders. Impulse, D, and Avon in very different positions here. One player in particular held back to sandbags. Are going to be keeping his eyes on for the banana contention. The smoke will immediately siphon him off, so Avon and Impulse got all the work to do. AWP doesn't see anything. Nades on, flashes keep him blind. They've kept one player in the open. See the player, second player forcing out. Larson looking for 2. Not quite the third. It's still the steals that away. And a 7th goes on the board for the MOVISTAR retake.
Oh, what a retake coming out from the Riders. It looked very calm, very collected. They set themselves up. The re-smoke came out for the T side in that CT position. And the Riders, all they did was they lined up the utility, and as soon as they came through, they charged in as a unit. Great communication on that retake, making sure that everyone knows exactly what they're doing, what position they need to take. There's so many players on this T side just completely blind, forcing them out into the open. And a 7th round up for the Riders. They're getting a good, like, sort of... amount of rounds on CT, really putting pressure on. They're looking fantastic at the moment in these gun rounds.
Very well coordinated on that retake. It's the kind of thing we wanted to see here from MOVISTAR. And Larson stepping up with a fantastic 2K, obviously, in that retake context. Almost made it 3 if it wasn't for steal. But doing well enough to keep the Riders in position here. 3 AKs out for the CT count. They do lose that first to Avon, though. Larson still contesting here in the apartments outside the balcony. Dimk knows that he's there somewhere. He gives his back turn. Larson catches off 1 frag. Steel's going to go forward. Larson sandwiched between all the T-side forces, but still gets a pop-off on Dimk's head. Sets up a 3-on-2 here, but Alex and Mopos are at the disadvantage, and Molotov's going to gain information and stall for time.
They'll know at least 1 player was there. And for MOVISTAR Riders, they're backing off. They know that Alex and Mopos are the B players every single round. So when they look at the kill feed and they go, right, Alex and Mopos are left, they're probably the 2 B defenders. MOVISTAR Riders. It seemed like they just weren't expecting a quick play. Now, for level up, it's a lot of the time when they try and take brackets, it is quite slow. We saw the flash coming out, a quick swing out from short. Larson in the apartments, it's honestly astonishing that he gets that 2 kills. He was sandwiched from so many different angles and was still able to get a deagle kill to follow up with 2. A great response from level up, and it's just in your face, very aggressive in that last round.
Indeed it was. A great T-side round to win there for level up. It does change the complexion of the confidence in MOVISTAR. So the rebuys will still come through for the CT camp, but the economy now on shaky territory. Same could also be said for the T side, but they have got savings to fall back on, and a lot more to gain here from MOVISTAR, in my opinion. I think that if they can take this next round, they could possibly really force the issue and level up. bomb plant bonus would be pretty nice as well, but AWP's boosted up towards the mid control. Larson looking for that first player out from stairs. A little bit late to set this up, so the best he can do is just look for info, see nothing, fall back and call that to his teammates.
And Movistar Riders haven't been able to get an opportunity of any kind of opening pick or any opening damage. I'm very passive for the T side, slowly trying to take control of the brackets area. Resmoke coming in for Larson may just hold them back for a fraction longer. Oh, Alex, that's a great opening kill. And again, Movistar Riders, there are so many rounds now, Jay, where they're finding opening picks.
Necro down, bomb was dropped temporarily. It's picked back up, obviously, onto the hands of Dimk now. He's playing into the mid control outside of brackets in the apartments. They have one player of Avon ready to split in potentially. Larson with the AWP. Start taking face. He's let one player cross out. No flash to smoke out, and he gets impulse with a quick frag back. And I'll say two-player advantage for the CT camp. Dimk tapping through, not seeing anybody towards the bomb site. As Larson is going to get traded back by Avon at last. Two players here towards Pit and Mini, and one swings in. Avon takes him down. Still sat back here. They're going to drop forward. Avon's knifes out. That's a kill coming through. They can't deny the bomb plant from there. It's closed, but still he's got possession on the site, unable to make anything happen with it. It's all to Mopos. 1-on-2 scenario. Damage done to D. Saw him on site. Flash is just not keeping him blind here. He's still going to face it against the Orpa. Got a shoulder bait and bait out the shot. He does go down with a simple kill from D's part. So good effort again on the defensive, but this time Movistar Riders are getting overwhelmed.
I tell you what, there really wasn't a lot wrong that Movistar Riders did there. They had a 5-on-3, and it looked like they were going to be able to clutch out the round pretty simply, but we saw Avon in particular. He gets a fantastic two-piece out from the apartments, gets some really nice raw kills, and from there, the trades come out so damn quickly. And one thing we haven't seen in a massive amount of rounds so far on Inferno is the raw aim potential on a lot of these players from LVLUP. We certainly saw it in the last to bring that round back in their favor. But they need Necro to come alive. He's really being an anchor for them at the moment. 1-11. They just need to hype him up.
A tactical pause called by LVLUP. I'm going to take a look at the numbers as well for these two teams, and you can see how Larson has definitely proved us, or proved our point here. If he can go ham, Movistar will be in a good spot, but he's the only player that's really doing that damage. Needs his teammates to bolster around him. As LVLUP are keeping contest, they are keeping things close. Movistar into the 14th round, obviously going to lose a lot of control if they can concede this rifle round. LVLUP, the same could be said, but at least they have a better basis for a force buy. So defaults in mid and second. A lot of apartments control coming in from Movistar Riders. Dimk could get caught off guard if he's not careful, but doesn't opt to go into the bedroom. Avon does take a swing out towards the stairs, and he goes down to 2.
Straight away, they know now that there's at least 2 players in the apartments. They don't know about the AWP. Larson's now going to be able to find another pick attack to come through. What a round coming out from the Riders. And LVLUP, they realize the fact, okay, they're double pumping, or they've got 2 players in the apartments. Let's just try and go quick out from brackets. But they don't know about the 3rd player of Larson. And from there, Still's able to swing out, gets 3 fantastic kills, and that round's over. That round is absolutely done.
The impulse left alone, spotted out by Larson, gets his rightful 2K. And this time it's Steele taking a spotlight away from his Dane and securing the 8th for Movistar going into the last round of the half. LVLUP have, well, they have been shut down pretty effectively. And for this Movistar side as well, like, bit shaky throughout the half, but now that they're going, things are looking real impressive for these guys. I mean, for a new look roster like this, with a lot of the doubts coming in with the way that they performed in, other tournaments like the IEM qualifiers, like seeing this, it's just, it's a positive sign for Movistar fans.
It certainly is. It's a very positive sign, and it's great to see that they're coming out of the gate in this best of 1 with a pretty strong performance so far. Larson in particular being very consistent with this AWP. Even going to get a tag onto D. No, actually that wasn't a tag. That was a nade coming out to Banana to do the early damage. But you've got to think for the Riders, they can close this out 9-6. They'll be very pleased going into their T side.
Upset. Here they come. Big miss from Larson. Forced out with a flashbang though. Can get back-to-back pine positions, and two rifles that are swing and take a position right there. Lands that lecture with an all good flick. Steel gets that one frag and a second coming through for the AK-47. Shocks holds on and still gets his triple. Alex cleans up the last on towards long. Movistar, chaos in the sight, but they do come out on top looking confident as well. Going into the second half, this team looks deadly.
Yeah, it certainly does. Steel in particular is really showing up some big numbers, and for an in-game leader for most of his career, has never really been a massive fragger, but the fact that he's been able to have as many multi-kills as he has so far in this matchup, he's been able to put up a stellar performance for the Riders. And for Level Up, considering the streak that we've seen from them on Inferno so far, they're certainly going to be disappointed with the fact that they were only able to get 6 rounds on their T side, which is their favored side, and that's why the odds are so shifted up to the Riders.
A small tech pause coming through before we get started with our pistol round. Movistar certainly doing good here to start things off in the first half of this map up. A lot of doubts around this roster, a lot of questions surrounding the new moves, and certainly those new players have shined here. Larson on 16, Shocks on 10, only rivaled by the veteran Steel at 14. Meanwhile, some of the numbers posted up by Level Up are looking a little bit concerning. Necrogenesis in particular, only a kill found in just 15 rounds.
That's not a great amount, for sure. Certainly an opportunity now on the City side to have a bit of a moment, sort of talk to the team and go, right, okay, look, I wasn't feeling comfortable on T. You know, things weren't going my way. This is my opportunity. I need to step up, because if I'm stepping up, this is going to allow a comeback to come through from Level Up. Because 3 rounds of a difference, it is not a massive, massive breakaway. But they need to look at this pistol. They need to look for a round success. Oh, that's the bomb drop too.
That's a start. Frag found by Impulse. Execution standard. Quick frag to open up the half here for Level Up. Face back from Dimk. Does get punished though by Alex, leaving it all to Arvin. He's got backup behind him indeed. 2 flashes, but the defuse kit needs to play carefully if he wants to stay in play here. Alex pops it up above the broken wall, forces him back all the same. Indeed, backed up, looking for taps, looking for kills against the T-side line. 2 players joined by a 3rd man. Flashes will try stall for them. They'll face away from that, but I think Alex still caught that in the face. Second flash now going to be baiting in all the utility here for the CT count. They know what's going on. They're going to rotate back towards the A site, and it's all we left on Necrogenesis to do the damage here. He's only found the kill. He's got to find 4 more if he wants to hold off against the retake. Got Shocks on site, missing his bullets, and going down to last. And that's a 4v3. That's a bomb plant. That's a retake.
It's going to be a tough retake coming out for the Level Up side now. They are here in numbers. The bomb's still not yet planted coming out for the Riders. And Level Up, and they're all coming in from the same position. Out from long straight away. It's Shocks to be able to deal with one. Larson as well. And D is going to be the remaining member of this CT side. 1v4, and he's pretty much out of there. There is no real chance that he's able to find this. Good kill onto Larson, but with a kit in play, 25 HP, this round is all but done. The Riders, they realized the fact, okay, we've had a couple of flashes at B, we haven't found the entry straight away. Let's just fall back, let's regroup over A, get that opening kill, and as soon as they deal with Necro, that round's pretty much theirs.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, that 1-3 split really cost them there for Level Up. I mean, to be fair, Movistar put a lot of presence out towards that banana position, and they were really sort of hunting for the B site play initially. So, you know, I understand the bait and I understand obviously the stack rotation, but obviously it was a bait and switch that worked wonderfully there for the Movistar Riders. They can be well happy with that. 10 to the board of the T-side, pistol round getting underway. And now the force buy comes back for the CT camp. Only pistols out for Level Up.
Force buy onto 4 players. Impulse not quite going for the complete force. Just a little bit of an upgrade. Map control instant over this B bomb site. This may even be a bit of a rush, at least not with the bomb, but to get some early damage. Look how quickly the T's are already at the B bomb site.
Heads up, Dimk tapping through, looking for another good fire back on towards Steel, but Steel's going to wrap over and take him down. It's all left to D with the CZ. Fast plays out from Movistar, want to get this round over and done with since they know that they're probably going to win it out. Good kill from Impulse comes up, Mopos goes down, smokes in, flashes over though, and they've still got a player left in the background. They haven't checked it. Steel does get it though. 2K for $1,200. on plant. Not quite going to be received here. Impulse will get forced back, and they've planted 4 coffins. Larson there to swing. Going to hear the tag damage coming through on that Molotov. And Necrogenesis getting a kill back with the Eagle, so at least the pistols are doing some damage, but it looks like a 1 versus 3 will come to effect. MOVISTAR should still maintain control of the economy.
And this is starting to slip away now from Level Up. You can imagine the pressure's really starting to build with 4 players on the force, only getting a couple of players down. It's not enough. Ooh, good kill coming into Larson, but still with the banger out from the Deagle through the coffins. 11-6 up for the Riders. And I'll tell you what, Joe, I wasn't really sure what I was going to expect from the Riders, considering how new the recent additions have been, but they're looking really comfortable at the moment. Larson in particular, one of the newest members, is looking very confident. And it's a great sign to see that if they can produce this going into the best of 3s, then they can look very deadly.
Yeah, and you know, for MOVISTAR, it's a pleasant surprise. You know, again, a lot of questions being asked about how well they're going to be able to do. Oh, that fought for a second because Level Up going for a stack in towards his mid-control, and it does get cleaned out by Moppos and Alex. So fortunately, nothing else coming through. But back to the point I was making, you know, MOVISTAR obviously coming in with 2 new additions. Now, 2/5 of their roster basically just getting completely like removed and replaced. So, you know, a lot of questions surrounding whether or not that's a smart idea. Obviously, with the you know, communication changes and everything like that, but. You know, for MOVISTAR Riders, it's a pleasant surprise to see them performing like this, 12-6 up against Level Up. And we thought this map pick was a very bad decision, but it's working wonderfully well for the European side.
Yeah, and I suppose as well, I feel like Level Up certainly aren't really being able to play their own game at the moment. They're certainly not looking individually as sharp as they normally are. A very sort of big surprise to sort of say they're not having as much impact in a map like this, where they're on a 7-map winning streak, where they've just looked so damn dominant. From the get-go, this veto went awfully for the MOVISTAR Riders side, but it seems like they've got something up their sleeves, and it's certainly showing in the server at the moment. MOVISTAR Riders, you've got to think here, if they can get up 13-6, you can pretty much call them victors. Look at that utility damage, the nades and the Molotov.
Dimke wasn't getting away from that one. The aim punch kept him in the flames for longer, plus doing the damage. And the HGs tend to do. Stacked in, well placed there for MOVISTAR Riders, well played there for MOVISTAR Riders. They are going to go for the B execution though. They are going to just sit back and wait. Continue to play out the default, try and bait in more utility, potentially get another kill and Level Up as well.
Slowing it down, waiting for any kind of an overextension to come out from Level Up. Just seeing if they can play some mind games, maybe try and fake some util out at A, see if they can force any over-rotations through. And it seems like one of the B players is even thinking about it.
Avent back up towards the spawn, just in case there is a wraparound coming through. AWP can't see it. The quick execute comes out. Now the Mac 10's made their way around that corner, sees that one player in the back line. He gets dealt with. AK swings on, and the AWP as well. And now Avent's attention is drawn away towards this CT contention. Can't even deny the bomb plant from here. Still should get sandwiched in and take it down. That's a consolation prize, but a 4-on-3 with Impulse tagged heavily, Avent tagged a little. The best they can do is grab that AK and save it.
That was a really smart play coming out from MOVISTAR Riders. So Steel was just completely undetected out from CT. And what we actually saw there was that Steel made his move through Arch when the utility went down to B. So that actually pulled the attention away from AVN to allow the duel to try and come out from Impulse. And he was just wasting so much time. AVN and Impulse struggled so heavily to try and take Steel down. And it just pulled them away from that B bomb site. 13-6, the Riders are coming out very strongly in this second half, and for Level Up, take a tactical, just take a breather.
Thirteen to 6. No rounds so far for Level Up in this second half. The CT side has been heavily pressured. MOVISTAR Riders, I mean, this T side is looking damn good, I'll tell you that. Steel popped out, flashes against D, he goes down. Dimke lines up a frag, almost gets the second, and Abraham Moppos might probably take him down, and indeed it does. 4 versus 3, so Level Up might finally return something back here on the defensive.
It seems a good opportunity. In saying that, though, this could just be Shox walking up. Like, both the players on A are in the apartment, so he could potentially try and either cut them off or just rotate in through Speedway. Oh, the timing.
Aven catching Shox for a frag, 2 left standing. Orp and M4 backed up, ready to face around the corner. Good flick, missed out. Larson and Alex get the trades, and now it's all to Alex with a plant to be secured. 1 on 2. Out the fountain, checking out Coffins. Now going to look back towards the banana position, expecting players to come in though. Where will he keep his eyes on? Obviously, that plant is closed for his current angle, so he's got to swing and take them down before they stick the defuse. They'll be pretty covered off as well, unless he can take down at least one. Here in those footsteps, swings in, takes a spray, it goes awkwardly, connects that kill in the end. 3K up for Alex, smoke down, sticking the defuse. Necro right on it. Alex got to find that spray. Necro's not moving. And Alex, who gets that one tap at least, but does not win the round for Movistar Riders.
Oh, even the damage they've done to the economy, no one surviving on that CT side in a one-on-one. It means that the buy's going to be able to come through, but there's going to just be no money in the reserve. A good shot from Alex to end out the round, but the Ninja defuse being stuck. Not really much that he can do there. Have a look at this tap. Oh, crispy. Ooh. Crispy bacon right there.
A shame it didn't contribute to a round victory, because that would be a hell of a stylish way to win a round, but...
Yeah.
I mean, for level up, their economy is still wrecked. All 5 players have to rebuy in. So Movistar, in the long term, they actually could win out here. If they win this next round confidently, clean up every player from level up, they're going to have nothing to work with into round 22.
Yeah, it would just be such a simple 15-7. Like, this round, it was even vital for Alex, the fact that he just even takes that duel, takes everyone down. Movistar Riders are going to know that their economy is just absolutely just destroyed. And from here, there's only 2 more defenders at A.
SMG for D and a FAMAS for Necro against the full-blown set of AKs, the AWP. Shox finding that first pick. D could find a bit of an off-angle in the midst of the smoke. Catches that one player not ready for the second. Molotovs to return to the site, try and drive them away. Got to keep his eyes on Library though, because there's a swing from Dimk, taking it back to an even standing, but he goes falling in trade. FAMAS dealt with by Alex. Impulse, the last player standing. 1 on 3 for him.
He's got to save this up. He has got to save it. There's no way he can attempt this. Movistar Riders. Now, we spoke about the potential if they win out this round here in round 21, what the consequences will be for level up. And I tell you what, they really have just been simply outclassed, I would say, in this matchup. They haven't really been able to play their own game. Individually, they haven't looked as sharp. The trading game has just not been there for them. And the Riders, they're just playing simple Counter-Strike at the moment. They're not pulling too many fakes and over rotations and things like that. They're just making sure they're getting the entries, they're getting the trades, they're doing a lot of utility damage. They're playing with a lot of confidence. Only going to be 2 more rounds after this for them to close out this best of 1. I'm thinking of closing out best of 1. Avers have just been able to win in the Polish derby in the best of 1 against PAC 16-7, Jay. So we could get 2 very, very similar scorelines.
Yes, we could do indeed. Looking at this situation, thinking how to level up, fight their way out of it to evade that sort of scenario, though. And right now, the options are limited. Half buy coming through to buy back in the next round, but an 8-round grind to overtime is going to be on the table for level up. Impulse boosted up top. Looking down towards stairs again. It's Shox that opens things up in the apartments and doubles up on towards Aven as well. 5 versus 3. Not even a lot of damage being done to him.
Not really much at all. Movistar Riders getting these couple of kills pretty early into the round. Not quite a third, as D does get still down with the CZ. And Movistar Riders, they can slow it down. They know where the AWP is now of Impulse. They've got to think, right, there's surely only 1 rifle in play. Let's just try and hit B.
Yeah, just 1 player standing. That's Dimk with a deagle with a heroic play and a heroic defense if he can hold it. Doesn't manage to see anybody though. Sees only 1 player. Tapping up now. Second going to start swinging in, and Dimk only defensive held here. Just going to get overwhelmed, spammed up. D finds 1 pick. Impulse gets traded, and Shox finish off the damage towards the mid position. 15-7 map point for Movistar Riders. And then ever since the second half got going, it's looked so easy for them.
Yeah, look, it really has. Level Up, they needed the pistol round victory just to kind of contest, but they just haven't had many opportunities at all. And running the double orbs for the first time from either teams, I want to say, that we've seen it come out. And a little bit of a desperate play for Level Up. They realized the fact, okay, we've got the money for it. Let's just try and see. We've got really nothing to lose considering we're up against map point. And let's just see if we can bring this comeback forward. And that's a good start to come out from Impulse.
Steal down. Opening the round for Level Up. Avon takes a second kill as well on Shock, so slight aggression is punished towards that mid control. 5-on-3, and MOVISTAR weren't quite expecting that. Level Up just held out. Bomb being dropped outside of the stairs area, so someone's got to rotate back and pick that up. They lost their main sort of lurkers in the default position, so not a lot of damage done to the players that are remaining. There's a little bit of HP down on Avon, so it could be a trade to find, but still at best a 4 versus 3. And as D gets more kills, the round continues to fall apart for MOVISTAR Riders.
Well, they've got a lot of money to work with, but at the same time, you don't really want to be giving up all of your weaponry for nothing. Riders have just been picked apart. Both the Orbs finding a kill, AVM with the M4. And the Riders just trying to see if they can use some utility over B, even if they can get a bomb plan, you know, keep their economy strong.
Open the back line, flashes go over. Keeping both players blind for the moment, but D is seeing clearly and seeing the first player pop out, get that kill. Larson left with the AWP. I mean, he could save it. It doesn't make that too much sense because they've already got double up set up in play for Level Up. They should know about this. MOVISTAR right now, 13 seconds. The best Larson's looking for is an exit kill. Hearing that player coming behind him potentially. Swing it out on Impulse. Nope, Avon's going to catch him off. And there you go, a flawless round. 5 alive for the CT side, and probably the most confident round we've seen from Level Up in this half.
Probably in this game, probably one of the best rounds. Very clean indeed, no one goes down. And you've got to think for the Riders, it's probably not going to get until double digits when pressure starts to be added. They've got so many rounds to play with. They just need to play their own game. They need one more round to close out this best of one. And for Level Up, they're thinking, all right, boys, let's see what we can do. We've got double AKs, we've got double AWPs. Let's just see if we can continue round by round. Finding impact, finding opening kills. This time around, though, the Orbs actually aren't really looking for any kind of an opener. We saw in that last round, Impulse was swinging out from brackets to find the opener. They've changed up their style. They're playing a little bit more passive on the CT side, allowing map control to come through quite easily for the Ts.
Okay, set. AWP is looking in towards this short and quad position. It does force that first player back. Larson couldn't catch the kill on Impulse. Gets them back to the site though, so they can try and contest for the short control. Have to get through Necrogenesis is the main concern. They don't have any nades, only one there to do some damage. Will not force them out position though, so minute to go. MOVISTAR Riders yet to commit the bomb, yet to decide on a site.
They're taking their time. I've got a little bit of map control to the top of Banana, not really much out to the A bomb site, only that single lurk of the AWP of Larson. Full commitment with 4 players over to B. And Larson's just going to try and keep the A players at bay because there's a stack over A. There's 3 players.
Smoke some flashes. Execute set towards the B-bomb site. Coffins and Cross smoked out. Dimk peeks in with the AWP. They get one. Trade back on the second as well on the back line. Avon gets Larson, meanwhile, lurking over to the A-site play. AK continues to spray through. Sees them coming in. Mopos gets D. It's all left to Dimk on the defensive. Sees one, sees a second. Alex gets that frag. And now plants towards the back of the fountain. The AWP can't find the angle. Mopos does get Avon.
Oh,
and Alex
my
goodness. Towards Impulse. No way. No way they're going to clutch a 2 versus 5 for MOVISTAR Riders. Necrogenesis, the bottom fragger, has got to do all the work here, and the Orb lands it. What a clutch from Alex and Mopos to get 16-8 on the board and claim the